I have always wondered how a legal show this intense
And when you found out that she left you for him, you were as jealous as a human being can be. Now, is that true or not?
can still be this fun.
Oh, no. I have to go see my grandmother.
She dying?
No.
Cancel on her.
And it looks like it's your lucky day because today we are covering everything that went down in Suits. Let's get into the world of legal troubles. Season 1. The series opens by introducing Mike Ross, a brilliant college dropout with a photographic memory and a resume that is questionable to say the least. He makes a living by taking the LSAT for other people, which is impressive and illegal at the same time. But one bad night flips his world upside down. A drug deal that he barely has a hand in blows up, cops swarm the scene, and Mike does what any person with half a brain would do in that situation. He runs. He's carrying a suitcase stuffed with drugs that he was supposed to deliver, and if the police catch him now, it's game over. Panicked, Mike enters a nearby luxury hotel while trying to blend in with the crowd, and what he didn't realize was that the hotel's hosting associate interviews for one of New York's most powerful law firms, Pearson Hardman. Inside, Harvey Specter, the firm's newly promoted senior partner, is in the middle of hiring his new associate, and in a twist of pure luck, the guy with a drug suitcase walks straight into Harvey's interview room. But y'all, there's one problem. Pearson Hardman only hires Harvard law graduates. It's one of the many rules imposed by managing partner Jessica Pearson. No Harvard degree, no interview, so I have no chance there. But anyway, Mike, who never went to Harvard or any law school for that matter, still somehow manages to talk his way into Harvey's interview room. And within minutes, it becomes clear this guy isn't just a random stranger. There's something different about him. He recites legal terms like he's scrolling through Google in his brain.
We should hire you. Jesus, I'd give you the 25 grand as a signing bonus. I'll take it. Unfortunately, we only hire from Harvard, and you not only did not go to Harvard Law School,
I learned it when I studied for the bar.
That's when the interview turns into a chess match. Harvey tests him on ethics, and Mike exceeds all of his expectations. Harvey's used to being the smartest person in whatever room he walks into, but for the first time in a while, someone actually manages to impress him. After a brief internal battle between this is illegal and this is genius, Harvey makes the riskiest decision of his career. He hires Mike, an associate, without a law degree. Well, actually, hold on, maybe there's chance for me after all.
let me tell you something. This isn't elementary school. This is hard work, long hours, high pressure.
You give me this, and I will work as hard as it takes to school those Harvard douches and become the best lawyer you have ever seen.
I'm emailing the firm. I just found our next associate.
But that single decision alone ends up becoming the backbone of the entire series. Harvey introduces Mike to his long-term legal secretary, Donna Paulson, and then comes the rest of the firm. Senior associate Louis Litt, a walking insecurity complex with a law degree, who immediately distrusts Mike, and there's paralegal Rachel Zane, who notices his intelligence but has absolutely no clue that he isn't actually a lawyer. By the end of the episode, Harvey and Mike have settled into a nice rhythm together and even win their first case together. They represent a nurse who was fired after making a medical mistake. And according to the hospital, she's a liability, but Mike quickly realizes that there's more to the story. After a lot of digging, he figures out that Nancy had actually been working crazy hours before the incident, which led to her messing up. Harvey uses that information during negotiations and puts pressure on the firm. The hospital backs down eventually, and the case ends with a settlement.
What do you want? An admission of guilt and a guarantee that you'll obtain treatment before working again. And Nancy gets reinstated with back pay.
Fine.
And a raise.
Thank you for everything.
Not bad. Well done.
However, the victory is quickly overshadowed by the reality that Mike is committing fraud by simply being employed, and Harvey has now risked his own career by protecting him. But that doesn't stop him. He has Mike tag along with him on cases, making him learn the inner workings of the legal world. Along the way, Mike grows closer to others at the firm, like Louis.
You show up 2 hours after we open for business, and I see that you're also trying to look like a pimp.
My bad, Louis.
The two actually have a hard time getting along since Louis blackmails him with fake drug tests and forces him to smoke pot with a potential client to close a deal. But Mike finds out eventually, and that erases any sort of goodwill between the two.
You're right. She does know my name, which is why she'll listen when I tell her exactly what happened.
Mike also grows closer to Rachel as she helps him pick out a venue for the Rookie Diner, one of the many traditions of the firm.
When you host your dinner here, not being late means getting here a half hour early.
Aha, so what made you change your mind?
The food items are samples to help you select your menu.
They even pretend to be a married couple for Mike's first pro bono case in housing court.
Problem? Any other questions I can answer?
I'm sorry. My wife here, my beautiful wife, gets a little paranoid sometimes, you know. You wouldn't believe how long it took her to just go out with me in the first place.
Once Mike finds out that Rachel's struggling with the LSATs, he also agrees to help her out.
If I let you help me, will you leave me alone?
However, that decision backfires. Anxious that she can't crack the test, Rachel asks her friend, Teresa, for help. She passes on the contact of the guy who took the LSATs for her, aka Mike Ross. When Rachel shows up to the location to supposedly meet the genius test taker, Mike shows up and talks her out of it. However, back at the office, when Rachel tells Mike about her decision to put more effort into the LSATs, she figures out his secret after he changes his tone.
Why are you suddenly changing your tune?
Because if you're not ready, you're not ready. Listen, I gotta go. I'll see you tomorrow.
No, that's not why. All that interest in Teresa, and then the other guy didn't show up, but you did. You were gonna take the test for me.
Now Ray, she don't report him, but she does shame him for his choices. Mike learns to deal with it while he navigates the mock trials at the firm. However, when the opposing counsel pulls a dirty move, Mike has no choice but to ask Jenny, Trevor's ex-girlfriend, for help. She agrees to play the witness for the trial, and while preparing together, Jenny and Mike share an intimate moment signaling the start of their relationship.
If you do it like that, they'll fall in love with you.
As Mike settles in, Harvey faces his own battles. Fans, they learn what kind of a lawyer he is when his reputation, the thing he values more than oxygen, is put at risk for the first time. He becomes fixated on an opposing attorney from Boston, Travis Tanner, what a name, a lawyer who has never lost a case. And Harvey takes that personally because, as far as he's concerned, he's the only lawyer in town who's got bragging rights to an undefeated record.
Tell me what you learned about Travis Tanner.
This guy's record is off the charts.
And the case ultimately pushes Harvey to bend the rules and manipulate strategy to preserve his undefeated status. And for the first time, it becomes painfully clear that Harvey values his reputation so deeply that he's willing to bend the very law he's sworn to uphold. But anyway, Harvey and Mike discover that Tanner's client had withheld key documents during discovery, which is a serious violation in litigation. However, instead of immediately exposing it in court, Harvey uses that information as leverage. And while Harvey does technically win later on, the episode reveals that Harvey's driven by a fear that losing would ruin his reputation of being the best. That is why he treats the case like a personal threat instead of a professional competition, you see? And that right there is something that Harvey struggles with in later seasons as well. Now, things take a shift when Mike directly challenges the firm's ethics instead of simply adapting to them. The case involves a major Pearson Hardman client who asks the firm to help fire an employee after discovering that his college degree was fake. On the surface, it looked simple: terminate the employee for lying on his resume. But Mike took a deeper look into the case, and he figures out that it's not that simple. The employee had discovered financial misconduct inside the company that put the CEO at risk. It becomes clear that the company isn't just getting rid of someone who lied on a resume. They are using the fake degree as a convenient excuse to silence him. Now, our boy Mike may be operating illegally, but he's still got a moral compass. He becomes obsessed with the case, even if it means putting the firm's high-profile clients at risk. Now, at Pearson Hardman, threatening a powerful client is practically heresy.
Is she gonna fire me?
This habit of you empathizing with every client is not getting you anywhere. You want to work in this firm? You need to deal in facts, evidence, information that can hold up. That's what a real lawyer does.
Harvey tries to put the leash back on, warning him that there's a difference between being a good lawyer and sabotaging your career. Jessica steps in as well, and she makes it clear that the firm only exists to serve clients and not its personal morality.
Well, that wasn't a list for client referrals.
Is this a joke?
Mike defies these warnings, though, and continues investigating anyway. His actions help expose the company's fraud, proving that he's not afraid of being found out. Instead, he's completely focused on doing the right thing. What a bro. And that is the internal conflict that will land him in trouble again and again for the rest of the series. And surprisingly, half the reason he wins, though, is thanks to Rachel. She helps him with the paperwork, and when the two are done slaving away at night, Rachel leans in, planting a kiss on Mike's lips. Ooh, not the best move considering he's in a relationship, though.
Impossible to have anything long-term unless you find someone that has the same 80-hour work week, and then that doesn't work either because they're busy too.
Well, I'm not gonna let that be the reason.
Mike seems bothered by it, but he chooses to bury it. At this point, the series introduces us to Harvey's background. Turns out, he was a completely different guy before the suits and his well-styled hair.
Okay, you are definitely sending me that photo.
Westlaw lists him as prosecutor of record on pages and pages of cases.
I told you.
I don't get it. Why wouldn't he have this on his bio?
Because maybe he has something to hide.
You see, his former mentor Cameron Davis, a powerful and aggressive district attorney who mentored Harvey and shaped him, he enters the picture. Cameron helped Harvey become the prosecutor he is today, and now he turns to Harvey for help on a major case.
Harvey! Cameron! How the hell are you? It's good to see you. Come up since me.
But he ain't just any district attorney, though. He's a courtroom predator with a conviction rate that makes defense attorneys lose sleep. But surprisingly, he isn't back to flaunt his flawless record in Harvey's face.
Whatever differences we had, we were a good team. The truth is that if anything taints the work that we did, it'll be bad for both of us.
Is that a threat?
I don't know, it's just reality.
Working with Cameron, it forces Harvey to confront how much of his personality and legal philosophy came from Cameron, including a willingness to cross ethical boundaries to win. Yikes.
If this goes to court, there are skeletons to be found.
And we'll find them.
You want to bank on that? I have your back. I am not volunteering anything. But if push comes to shove, I won't perjure myself.
And that's not the nicest realization because Cameron believes the system only works if strong prosecutors bend it when necessary. On the other hand, Harvey has always claimed he's different, that he only bends the rules when the other side deserves it. Or at least he likes to think so. Now, the season finale delivers the first blow as Harvey tries to understand what kind of a lawyer he actually is. He becomes involved in a case where he tries to free an innocent man who was wrongfully convicted by none other than his own mentor, Cameron.
I don't know, Harvey. This article makes a pretty compelling case that he's guilty.
Well, he's not.
It's quoting you.
I was wrong.
The opposing district attorney refuses to cooperate and prioritizes procedure and political optics instead of justice. Harvey once again bends the rules to force a favorable outcome.
What are you doing here, prosecutor?
I believe you're innocent. I'm here for your redemption.
He manipulates the game in ways that feel dangerously similar to the tactics he criticized in Cameron. Of course, he comes out on top in the end, but with a high cost since Cameron resigns, fracturing the mentor-student relationship forever. At the same time, though, the pressure around Mike's secret, it keeps growing. Mike's longtime friend discovers he's sleeping with his ex-girlfriend, Jenny. And so, in retaliation, he approaches Jessica, revealing Mike's secret and putting his job at risk. Oh, hell no.
I wish I didn't have to do this. There's something you need to know about him, something Harvey Specter hasn't told you.
And this moment shows how fragile everything really is. Mike's entire career at Pearson-Hardman is built on a lie, and all it takes is one angry friend to bring it down. Season 2! Guys, we made it to the second season. I'm so happy we've done this together. Now look, Mike, he's still working at the firm in season 2, and Jessica finds out about his secret and has no choice but to let him stay since she's got her hands full with Daniel Hardman, the other half of Pearson-Hardman. His wife, Alicia Hardman's sudden passing, it raises questions about the firm's future. Since Alicia's no longer in the picture, Daniel Hardman steps in to take control over the firm, and that's exactly what happens.
When I ran Pearson-Hardman, I was charming, witty, and adorable. I thought I could get away with anything. I risked the firm's reputation and the careers of everyone in it, and I've decided to come back and show that we can be a successful law firm without breaking the rules.
Daniel betrayed the firm back then. He embezzled money to cover up his personal issues. When that came to light, Jessica and Harvey worked together to expose him and force him out by threatening to expose his affair with his wife. So now, letting him back in, it's a threat to the firm. Since Jessica's too focused on Daniel, Mike thinks he's safe. However, another threat pops up. Louis, remember him? Up until now, he's mostly been the brilliant senior associate with a chip on his shoulder, but he starts noticing inconsistencies in Mike's past, like the missing details, the vague references, and the rehearsed answers whenever Harvard came up. He's like Dokes and Dexter. His suspicion was initially fueled by jealousy, but this time, it's curiosity.
Allergies are a sign of weakness, but enjoy yourself. Get out.
Then things only get worse for Mike. The introduction of Daniel Hardman into the power structure, it adds another layer of danger, since Hardman is sharp, strategic, and far less forgiving than Jessica.
So when did the plan change from trying to settle to punching Tanner in the face?
He didn't seem to want to do the one, so I did the other.
That's funny. But he got under your skin, and that can't happen when we go to trial.
Harvey realizes how close they came to disaster, and he knows going by instinct, it's not enough anymore. Even Mike just can't wing it and rely on brilliance because what Mike's doing isn't just lying, guys, it's fraud, which makes everything he does illegal. And eventually, that pressure explodes. Daniel Hardman returns to the firm as managing partner, and Harvey's not thrilled at all. Instead, he sees it as a declaration of war. The two of them share a pretty complicated history built on betrayal and ambition.
I'll give you the courtesy you never gave me. I'll say it to your face. I'm coming for you.
Hardman, he wastes no time. He starts turning the other partners against Jessica and Harvey. That puts the duo in a weak position. It also puts Mike's secret even more dangerous under Hardman's watch. Meanwhile, Mike's hit with a devastating news. Rachel shows up at Mike's apartment to break the news about his grandmother's passing.
Rachel. Hey, what are you doing here? Come in.
Someone kept calling the office for you. I guess that's the emergency number they had.
What?
It's your grandma. She passed away. I'm so sorry.
And we kept laughing. We kept laughing until I fell asleep. When I woke up the next morning, she wasn't just my grandmother anymore. She was my whole family.
For Mike, she was the one person who believed in him unconditionally. Her passing, it destabilizes him emotionally, and he has a hard time keeping his grief and fraudulent life apart.
Not gonna wet the bed tonight. But I will remember that night and everything she has ever done for me for the rest of my life.
Mike also finds himself having a turn of emotions towards Rachel when he grabs her and kisses her.
Found what?
I found it.
It can't be like this.
Why?
Because your grandmother just died.
You think not kissing is gonna make that any better?
No. I think that's exactly what it's gonna do, and that's why it's a problem.
Rachel, in the middle of the worst week ever, I have found a moment of something good.
Things at Pearson Hardman take a turn again. The firm's dealing with a case that's put directly against Robert Zane, who's not just a big name in the law, but also Rachel's father.
Even though evidently you went to Harvey to ask him to make it about you.
I didn't go to Harvey, he came to me.
Look, Rachel, you might want to make this Zane versus Zane, but it's not. It's Folsom Foods versus our client.
Rachel, who feels like she's never been appreciated by her dad, decides to get involved. She heads over to Mike asking to be put up in the case so she can fight against her daddy. And she's stuck between her loyalty to her father and her feelings towards Mike. To make things more complicated, Robert Zane isn't a man who enjoys losing. I don't think many lawyers in the show enjoy losing, but especially not losing to Harvey Specter.
We had a deal. You pulled it. Put the deal back on the table. This whole thing ends now.
And the negotiations are pretty intense, but Harvey ultimately wins by exploiting Robert's predictability at the bargaining table. His victory does have consequences, though. Robert begins to see that Mike is more than just another associate in Rachel's life. What's more, Harvey hires a new associate, Katrina Bennett, to help him with the cases.
I think you might be in the wrong office.
Oh, I'm in the right office. You're Katrina Bennett, Harvey's mysterious new hire.
I'm afraid that puts me at a disadvantage because I don't know who you are.
That's our problem right there. You can either welcome my tutelage, or you can crawl back to the DA's office from whence you came.
By the end of the season, Rachel and Mike get into a heated argument when she confronts Mike for lying to her.
That is such bullshit! That's not what you meant, and you know it. You've been cagey with me since the second I came.
The argument leads to him confessing about his fraud, and he reveals how he never went to Harvard.
There's always some secret or some story.
Don't understand what I have been through. I am not ready to lose you.
Then tell me.
I never went to Harvard.
What?
I'm a fraud.
Surprisingly, that turns out to be the right decision because Rachel embraces Mike in a passionate kiss, signaling the start of their relationship. Ooh! Season 3. All right, guys, we're making good progress. I hope you're having a good time. I am too. Thanks for being here. Now, we're at Season 3, and this one opens with Mike having a nightmare, one that involves Rachel revealing his secret to the firm. But before he sees everything fall apart, he wakes up.
And most importantly, based on a foundation that is
full of shit.
What the hell's going on?
I told her.
Told her what?
That Mike Ross is a fraud, and I am not going to let him get away with it.
How could you do this?
You did this to yourself.
Jessica Pearson is in crisis management mode. With the firm unstable, Jessica decides to merge with Edward Darby's international firm, forming Pearson Darby. Darby offered everything: power, big clients, and protection.
Jessica, how lovely to see you.
I wanted to thank you.
Ah,
You saw the sign.
You didn't have to do that.
Our agreement also stipulates a 51-49 percentage structure.
And this is your way of showing me that you think of it as 50-50.
And Harvey, he's fixing the damage done. He takes on a high-profile and extremely volatile case defending British oil executive Dr. Ava Hessington against some international bribery allegations. It's exactly the kind of case you take when you're trying to prove that your firm is still powerful.
You want to tell me I better win this goddamn case?
I didn't think I had to.
Never stopped you from saying it before.
Well, I'm learning to let go. Oh, Harvey, there is one more thing. You better win this goddamn case.
Meanwhile, Mike is spiraling internally, and he realizes that senior partners Jessica and Harvey are risking everything to protect his secret.
But what happens if you get caught? Because what you had may have been a nightmare, Mike, but you can't tell me you're not afraid of being exposed.
Of course I am. But there's nothing that I can do about it.
But Mike becomes more reckless instead of being cautious.
You have no idea what I have or haven't done to get where I am.
And that's the whole problem. I have no idea who you are.
Later onwards in this season, we see a young Harvey working as an assistant district attorney under Cameron Dennis, the mentor who taught him to win at all costs.
What kind of person doesn't high-five another person?
A person who's not 10 years old.
Oh, so you mean like a dick?
No, I mean like the guy that can fire you on the spot.
Harvey once covered up unethical behavior to protect Cameron. He comes across an affidavit that raises questions regarding a witness in a case that they are prosecuting. Legally, it should be turned over to the defense, but Cameron pressures Harvey not to submit it.
The only thing that makes me a pussy is that I didn't send that affidavit in the second I found out.
And if you didn't realize, this mirrors Mike's current situation almost perfectly. The episode reframes Harvey's entire character arc. Harvey ended up this way by crossing the line for someone else. And when you look at it, he's putting Mike in the same position by repeatedly asking him to cross boundaries and act against his moral compass. Of course, being a fraud doesn't mean Mike's giving up on having a personal life. He gets into an argument with Rachel over her decision to go to Colombia, and he sees the opportunity as a threat to their relationship, making the episode one of the most emotionally charged ones in the entire series.
The same way that I make all the important decisions in my life, by weighing the pros and cons of both schools.
And where does not being with me rank on that list?
However, Mike does find it in his heart to accept her decision, opening up another chapter for the couple.
I just realized that if I go his way, I am going to lose you. But if I keep going mine, I'm going to push you away. So make your decision, and I'll give you your space.
Meanwhile, Harvey finds himself breaking one of his own rules. Despite always warning others not to mix business with pleasure, he starts a complicated relationship with Dana Scotti, one of his old flames from his law school days. It's not an affair, but it does blur the line between his personal life and his work. To add to his plate, attorney Eric Woodall targets the firm, using Mike's fraud as leverage, while Harvey orchestrates a desperate legal and political defense to protect everyone.
You'll point the finger at Mike, who will then have no choice.
Open that door.
But Mike's not able to accept the pain he's causing everyone, so he makes the ultimate sacrifice. He leaves the firm and accepts a job offer from investment banker Jonathan Sidewell.
All of it since you hired me.
But that's not what I said.
Yes, it is.
I wasn't blaming you for those things.
I'm tired of putting the people I care about in jeopardy. I called Jonathan Sidwell this afternoon. I took the job.
Season 4. All right, y'all, so thanks to Mike's decision, Harvey and him are no longer working together.
I want you to get your head out of your ass, or go back to being a lawyer.
For the first time since the start, Mike is technically a legal employee, and y'all, he must feel so good, like a weight has been lifted. He's taken a job as an investment banker at Sidewell Investment Group, and so that's goodbye to bar exam lies, fake transcripts, and no constant fear of somebody Googling Harvard Law 2011 class photo. Oh, where's Mike in this picture? However, though, Mike immediately finds himself on the opposite side of Harvey in a hostile takeover battle over Gillis Industries, a company both sides are trying to control. What begins as a professional rivalry quickly turns personal, leaving both men feeling betrayed.
Well, as inconceivable as it might be to you, Harvey, I'm actually not going in hostile.
Mike and Harvey, they escalate their corporate war. Each of them has spent months learning how the other operates. So during the Gillis takeover, they know exactly where the other one is vulnerable and exactly which buttons to push.
I told him I was going after the same company he was, and he used that knowledge to move up his tender offer.
The episode shows that Mike didn't just learn the job from Harvey. He also learned how Harvey thinks, allowing him to now stand up to him. And for the first time, Mike stops pretending he's different. Up until now, Mike has always justified his moves as morally necessary, but there's no little guy in the Gillis takeover battle with Harvey. It's actually about him proving that he belongs in the big leagues. Y'all, Mike starts manipulating people. He buys Harvey's father's master tapes just to stick it to him. Even Rachel, who's now back together with Mike, begins noticing how far he's drifting from who he used to be.
If you just find the right time to ask him.
I did, and he bit my head off. So please just let it go.
When Mike and Harvey fight externally, Louis Litt faces internal humiliation. His need for respect and validation makes him even more unpredictable. He risks everything to secure a victory for the firm so he can finally have Jessica look at him the way she looks at Harvey. He makes the executive decision of selling some important Gillis shares that the firm had purchased. Perfect plan, except it ends up completely destroying whatever strategy Harvey and Jessica were cooking up.
Now you want me to double check his work because you don't trust him?
No, question is, can I trust you?
What?
This lunch isn't about him, it's about you.
It proves Louis is a ticking time bomb, emotionally volatile and deeply insecure, okay? And of course, he cleans up his mess, but not without leaving an impression like he always does. And the Gillis takeover battle ends with Harvey wiping the floor with Mike. And to make things worse, Sidewell fires Mike as well after finding out he tried to cut him out of a deal. And surprisingly, Louis of all people hires him back at the firm. However, the celebration doesn't last for long. Louis resigns in shame since he can't accept the fact that he let Jessica and Harvey down by selling those shares and getting in bed with Charles Frostman, a shady businessman who forced him to cross a line.
How's this for ready? I'm taking a job in Boston.
What?
I quit Pearson Spector.
Depressed, sad, and at home, Louis has a light bulb moment as he connects the dots about Mike's secret after he unknowingly slips up. Mike goes over to Louis' place after he resigns. Concerned, Mike tries to cheer him up by making chit-chat about a random golden key. But what he didn't know is that the golden key was something all Harvard graduates receive. The fact that he didn't recognize it made everything click for Louis. Later, Louis uses his newfound leverage to weasel his way back into the firm. He comes back with a vengeance, burying Mike in grunt work and threatening Donna and Jessica.
We have an agreement, and this is for your own good.
Well, for your own good. You better remember what I'll do if this takes too long.
For years, Louis was pushed into a corner, but now he's the bully. Jessica fears he'll blow up everything they've built. These circumstances force Harvey for the first time to swallow his pride and accept he's not the only man sitting at the table anymore. Louis holds the same power as him now since he knows Mike's secret. As the ultimate abuse of power, Louis demands a client from Harvey, hitting him right where it hurts. What's more, Louis confronts Jessica and Harvey after discovering Mike's fraud and uses this information to secure his position as a named partner. Y'all, he's in his evil girl era, which ended up changing the firm's names to Pearson Spector Litt.
When I found out the truth, it had already been done.
Right after he made senior partner over me, that's when he hired the fraud. That's the correct timeline, right?
Yes.
So instead of turning him in, you cover it up.
I saved you from the wolves.
Then I ask you for the smallest gesture.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell me you're a liar! And a hypocrite!
At the same time, Harvey's dealing with a ticking time bomb of his own as he finds out that Donna may have broken the law to help Mike in a whistleblower case.
I told her that you were never gonna let her get in trouble.
It's not so simple.
What the hell isn't so simple?
She's guilty.
It's not a situation he can talk himself out of, like always. Even though the odds don't look like they're in his favor, Harvey manages to save Donna. In the end, he proves that he's willing to do anything for those closest to him. Mike tries to put it all behind him. He also confesses his love to Rachel and proposes to her.
I don't want to go 40 years wondering why I didn't do this one day sooner. Rachel Elizabeth Zane, I love you. And I always will.
The season ends with Mike getting down on one knee and popping the $1 million question.
You're my whole life. Will you marry me?
Meanwhile, Donna's still shaken after her close brush with prison. Things actually get complicated between her and Harvey as he confessed his love to her during the trial. Not wanting to deal with uncomfortable feelings, though, Donna goes to work for Louis.
Donna, I know how you're feeling, but you just went through something huge with being on trial, and you need to give it time. You can't just quit.
I'm not quitting. I'm going to work for Louis.
Season 5! Despite the way things ended in Season 4, Season 5 opens with the dream team back at it. Mike and Harvey are working on cases once again. On surface, the firm appears stable again, but in reality, it's all the same. Everyone's one bad decision away from imploding. Mike's going crazy, worrying about his secret being exposed at any moment. Meanwhile, Harvey's fixed on bringing back the old vibe. Real.
Listen to me. Flintstones is an iconic classic that clearly conveys the fact
That you're old?
Hey, you're the one who came up with the reference.
Which conveys the fact that I'm smart?
But what shocked fans the most was Harvey going to therapy. With Donna no longer working at the office, Harvey's world feels off balance. He finally starts to face what he's been avoiding, spooky, and that's his abandonment issues as he starts experiencing panic attacks. Helpless, Harvey decides to go do something about the situation and see therapist Dr. Paula Agard.
Please, you have to understand, I lost my secretary.
Yet I lost my company.
No, you haven't. We can get them back. I can take care of it.
You can't even take care of yourself.
Sorry, Harvey. You're on your own.
And how do you feel when you get up?
I told you I don't want to talk about how I feel.
His therapy sessions get more serious as Dr. Paula drops a psychological bomb.
I don't think the woman in your dream was actually Donna. I think it was your mother.
I don't believe it. I tell you the thing that's been eating at me for days and you call me a liar?
For a man who's used to dismantling witnesses in the stand, this is a new feeling for him. To add to his troubles, Harvey sleeps with Louie's sister after helping her out with her divorce. Of course, Louie's not happy about that when he finds out, and the two get into it, and it ends with Harvey punching Louie and throwing him into his glass table.
You and I are gonna have a talk right now.
Okay, whatever it is, it can wait. I need to tell you something.
Does it have something to do with why my sister just left here, too upset to go out to dinner? And when I say now, I mean as opposed to before, when you slept with her.
Of course, Louie doesn't let the humiliation go. He calls for his suspension, but Harvey gets out of it by reducing his salary.
And my partners are more important to me than money. So, starting today, I'm reducing my compensation to the median amount, with the rest going to all my partners to share.
Meanwhile, Mike celebrates his win as he is promoted to junior partner, becoming the youngest person to make partner in the firm's history. Things seem to be going rather smoothly for the team. That is until Daniel Hardman returns, looking for control over the firm. In the face of the leadership vote, Jessica, Mike, and Harvey team up to make a last-minute save, fending off Daniel Hardman for good.
The matter at hand is making sure that we have more people on our side than he and Daniel have on theirs.
Surprisingly, for once, Mike isn't a liability. He's part of the solution. Meanwhile, Harvey confronts the painful memories of his parents' divorce in therapy.
You said that once before, and you'd never do this
I know
again.
what I said.
And I said if you did, I'd tell him everything, and I'm going to.
Harvey, I am begging you. Don't tear us all to pieces. Don't destroy your family.
Don't you dare put this shit on me.
On the other hand, Mike finds himself asking the question he's been avoiding since season 1. Should I still be doing this? But things reach an all-time low when Anita Gibbs, assistant U.S. attorney, formally indicts Mike for fraud and conspiracy.
Michael Ross, I'm assistant U.S. attorney Anita Gibbs, and unlike you, I'm a real attorney.
I'm not answering any questions until I speak to my lawyer.
I heard you ask for him before, but while we're waiting, I just wanted to let you know that I'm the one who's going to put you in jail.
The arrest is public, humiliating, and devastating. News spreads rapidly, destroying Mike's reputation and dragging Pearson Spector Litt into scandal. The firm's credibility, it collapses overnight. Harvey, Rachel, Donna, Louie, and Jessica scramble to manage the fallout, but the damage, it's irreversible, guys. The trial eventually begins, and Anita systematically dismantles Mike's defense, presenting a clear timeline of fraud that stretches back years. For the first time, Harvey is forced to confront the fact that his reputation and his brilliance can't undo the documented truth.
He's not in here because of what I did. He's in here because of what you did. So instead of blaming me, take a look in the mirror. Because all you have to do is admit what you did, and all of this goes away.
Y'all, Mike's hope of walking away, it's beginning to fade. Rachel and Donna struggle to stay optimistic as the odds worsen. Donna returns working for Harvey since Louie believes it's the right decision. In a desperate move, Harvey tries to uncover prosecutorial misconduct by Anita Gibbs, but Gibbs only makes things difficult for Rachel by targeting her personally, hoping to get her to flip on Mike.
I'm perfectly capable of determining if this is legally binding or not. And I am not going to let you bait me into saying anything to you.
And more, Jessica and Louie consider sacrificing Mike for the good of the firm, proving how the trial is a test of everyone's morals, and how this isn't just Mike's problem anymore. Emotions, they run high in this season finale, as Mike accepts a deal in exchange for protecting the firm from prosecution.
What did you do? I did what I had to do. I pled guilty.
Bullshit. You didn't plead anything.
Harvey, look at me. It was my crime, it was my choice to make, and I made it. It's done.
He pleads guilty to fraud in exchange for a 2-year prison sentence, ensuring that Harvey, Jessica, and the firm avoid criminal charges. Harvey watches Mike leave and is fully aware that the lie he created in the start has finally claimed its price.
Watch your back in there, Mike. I will.
Season 6. It opens with Mike Ross in Federal Correctional Institution Danbury. He has trouble adjusting to life behind bars, and he realizes that intelligence and confidence don't translate into safety inside prison walls.
What's this for?
What do you think it's for? Strip naked, put everything you own inside that bag, then follow me.
Mike is assigned a cellmate, Kevin Miller, a quiet inmate who is serving time for insider trading. Meanwhile, outside prison, Harvey, Jessica, Louie, Donna, and Rachel deal with the aftermath of his conviction. The senior partner who fled the firm tried hacking into the firm's network to obtain client information. Meanwhile, Jessica is served with a $100 million class action lawsuit for every case Mike was involved in.
You're right, Lewis, I did. But I didn't come down here to play pin the blame on the Harvey. I came down here to figure out what the hell we're gonna do.
We're being sued for every case Mike Ross has ever touched.
Harvey throws himself into work because that's what Harvey does when emotions get inconvenient. Meanwhile, Mike runs into trouble in prison with his cellmate, Frank Gallo, the classic volatile inmate with a personal vendetta against Harvey. Turns out he's responsible for putting Gallo in jail for 13 years, and so as revenge, he decides to make Mike's life a living hell.
Get off him, Gallo! What? I didn't do shit! He attacked me! That is bullshit!
Mike does start to get some respect behind bars, though. Inmates approach him for his legal advice, and for the first time in a long while, Mike feels useful again. His name starts to carry weight. He's the lawyer behind bars, which is both valuable and dangerous. He also gets to know more about Kevin's case and believes that he's been wrongfully convicted for drunk driving. Naturally, he begins quietly working on a strategy to help him. However, his activities, they attract the attention of prison guards and powerful inmates who see Mike as a tool to exploit. However, things get complicated when prosecutor for U.S. Secretaries and Exchange Commission, Sean Cahill, says that he'll let out Mike early if he agrees to inform on Kevin. Sean, he actually wants to use him to get his father-in-law, William Sutter.
What'd the guy do?
Who cares what he did? I care. If it was so bad, why didn't Kevin turn on him in the first place?
Then Louie, he's keeping himself busy back at the firm. He hires an architect, Tara Messer, to restructure the firm. Jessica, she doesn't approve of it, but Louie has already fallen in love with her.
Yes.
I'm Tara Messer. I'm here to discuss your remodel needs.
My needs?
Well, I'm sorry, Miss was gonna be our architect. We no longer need your service.
Gretchen, calm down. You are overreacting like a crazy woman. You're hired.
Whereas Harvey finds out that Kevin's conviction was manipulated after all. Turns out he got a prison sentence instead of probation because he refused to be an informant for his father-in-law for Sean. Kevin knew what the consequences were, but he still said no since his wife Jill was a part of insider trading along with her father.
What exactly did you put Kevin away for?
And why do you need to know that?
Because it might help us figure out what his weak spot is.
Mike, of course, believes helping Kevin is the right thing to do because apparently even a federal prison isn't enough to convince him to mind his own business. Mike and Harvey continue working with each other indirectly to unravel the corruption surrounding Kevin's case. They can't exactly hold strategy lessons over whiskey anymore, but they still somehow manage to make it work through coded conversations and secret meetings.
So you need to go back to that prison and tell Mike that he better get me something, get it fast, because I didn't sell my soul last night to watch that bastard ride off into the sunset.
Meanwhile, Harvey begins pushing boundaries once again, mirroring the behavior that led to Mike's imprisonment in the first place. He colludes with Sean, leaking Suter's trading program despite being his attorney. Inside prison, Mike realizes that helping Kevin might be the only path to freedom for either of them.
Why are you so interested in my well-being?
Because I'm your friend, and I was in your position.
Thankfully, their efforts pay off. Jill and Kevin both agree to testify against her father after she realizes that her father is willing to throw both of them under the bus. And all since Mike's the one who made Jill realize that Sean lets him out of prison, holding his end of the deal. Then good old Louie's going through big things as well as he begins in a relationship with Tara, who breaks up with her boyfriend to be with Louie.
You're gonna be exhausted, which means you're gonna have to spend the night.
Well, then what do you say we make the whole day of it, too?
Exactly do you have in mind?
There's a dress rehearsal at the Barber Seville at the Met tomorrow, and I can get us in as patrons.
However, things get complicated when Tara realizes she's pregnant with her boyfriend's child. She breaks the news to Louie, who surprisingly takes it well. In fact, he proposes to Tara, hoping to raise the kid as his own.
I tried to sleep on it, and all I can do is picture a life without you and your beautiful unborn baby, and it just made me crazy to think I wouldn't be a part of it. Tara Messer, will you marry me?
Yes, Louis, I'll marry you.
Jessica's going through some major changes as she gets deeply involved in a case to get an inmate off of death row. The case reminds her of why she became a lawyer in the first place. Wanting nothing to do with corporate law, she decides to leave it all and move to Chicago.
Glad, but I wouldn't have left without saying goodbye.
I didn't just come here to say goodbye. I came to see what you think about me coming with you.
What about the firm?
I'm leaving the firm.
Although Harvey and Louis struggle with accepting her decision, they learn to understand it. You'd think Mike would come back to the firm in these trying times, but no. Instead, he takes a job as a legal consultant at the East Side Legal Clinic. Between him and Jessica, Harvey has a hard time handling his emotions, and that's when Donna suggests he reconnects with his mother to fix his abandonment issues. Turns out Harvey hasn't spoken to her in years since she cheated on his father. Still though, he puts his feelings aside and decides to talk to her again.
Harvey, what are you doing here?
I wanted to talk to you.
I can't believe it. This is wonderful.
I thought maybe you wanted to get dinner tonight.
There is nothing I would rather do than get dinner with you, but I can't tonight.
Once he's back though, Harvey starts his Make Mike a Legit Lawyer project. What a bro. He uncovers fraud by Craig Seidel, a board member of the Ethics Committee of New York, and decides to use it against him so he can have a chance before the board. Meanwhile, Louis decides to open up to Tara about how he knew about Mike's fraud. Disappointed that Louis would do such a thing, Tara breaks up with him, which hits him hard.
When I found out about him, instead of going to the police or going to the bar, I leveraged it to get my name on the wall. Tara, say something.
You just told me you found out you were working with a criminal and you turned it into a promotion.
The bar committee reviews Mike's application and argues whether someone who committed such extensive deception can ever be trusted again. Old colleagues testify, and his past is put under the microscope once again. Anita Gibbs, on the other hand, is determined to make sure Mike doesn't weasel his way into the legal system legally. She argues that redemption doesn't erase fraud, but Harvey, he argues the opposite.
I'm done wasting my breath on you. Because the purpose of this hearing was to determine if Mike Ross had reformed. But you don't seem to be interested in that because you've already made your mind up. Because as I said, in my professional opinion, the world could use a lawyer like Mike Ross.
According to him, character isn't defined by your worst decision, but by what you do after it.
I don't think I can add anything to that. I've made my case. I leave the choice to you.
But unfortunately, his argument is no good, as Anita wants Mike to admit that Harvey knew about Mike's fraud all along. Talk about holding a grudge. Unfortunately, she doesn't get what she wants, as Jessica takes the bullet instead. She admits to knowing Mike's fraud. And y'all, surprisingly that works. Mike becomes a member of the bar. Harvey offers him his old job back, but Mike brings conditions. He wants to work on pro bono and corporate cases. He also asks for Harvey's office. Of course, Harvey initially refuses because how could he leave his balls? However, though, Mike convinces him that it's time to step up and take on the role of managing partner since Jessica's not coming back. Harvey realizes he's not wrong, and both men shake on it. Season 7. So, Season 7 opens with Mike back at Pierce Inspector Lit. Of course, he doesn't forget about the clinic, though. He leaves Nathan with a check for $500,000 and promises to help out every now and then.
You got one chance to write down your best bid. Winner takes all, loser goes home.
Donna decides to finally ask for a seat at the table as well, and she asks Harvey to be made partner in return for everything she's done for the firm.
You have to take me seriously.
I do take...
Harvey, he's opposed to the idea because he's Harvey, but he promises to entertain it after a discussion with Louis. However, Harvey has his hands full. With Mike and Harvey stepping up to be managing partners soon, the two decide to get together for one last rodeo. They team up to help one of Jessica's old clients with the sale of his vodka business. Louis is keeping busy as well. He's trying to take his mind off his breakup with Tara by focusing on the associates, which unfortunately makes it their unlucky day. He even takes it out on Donna, reminding her of her place, which only makes her feel more insecure about her position at the firm. Feeling disrespected, Donna decides to put her money where her mouth is and hands Harvey a check for $500,000. Y'all, I wish I could just throw away $500,000 like this. But anyway, this way, he has no choice but to take her seriously.
You're not listening to what I'm saying, are you?
Sorry.
However, that decision backfires since all Harvey can think about during his date with his therapist, Paula, is everything on his plate. Back at the firm, Louis continues to rain down terror. Worried, Donna calls Harry, who has no choice but to make her partner, giving her the power of making executive decisions. Unfortunately, it doesn't make things any better though. That case Harvey and Mike were working on, remember? Turns out the client hid fraud from them. There's just so much fraud everywhere. Mike asks Harvey to stop the sale, but he doesn't. He's worried about losing one of Jessica's clients, and so he lets the sale through. That decision right there puts Mike and Harvey at odds once again. Mike calls Harvey out, labeling him weak for not having the courage to step in Jessica's shoes.
It looks like you're afraid and you're not in charge.
Okay, you say something like that to me, you better get ready for a hip.
He asks Harvey to stop acting like Jessica and start being him again, which turns out to be great advice. He sets the client in place and stops the sale. He also finally tells Louis about stepping up as a managing partner. On top of that, he also makes up with Paula by driving over to her place and kissing her. Ooh! Then Louis, he starts going to therapy. It's his turn, and he's doing this to get over his breakup with Tara.
I promise you that I will never let you down again.
You know you can't say that, Louis.
Harvey decides to make more changes around the firm. He goes and meets his 15-year-old friend Alex Williams to bring him over at PSL, which he agrees to.
I'm here to finish a conversation we started years ago.
He also backtracks on his decision to make Donna partner since he was worried about what kind of a message it sent to everyone else. Making a legal secretary senior partner is not exactly common practice, guys, so instead, he makes her COO.
Partner is off the table, Donna.
Then keep my buy-in and make me COO.
Of course, Mike uses the fact that Harvey's busy to make his own moves. He's been working on a prison-related case without Harvey knowing. That's a big deal because Harvey initially told him to drop that case since it raised a conflict of interest with one of the firm's big money-making clients, Masterson Construction. You see, Masterson had to deal with Reform Corps to maintain prisons. Only problem is that Reform Corps makes more money by keeping prisoners in for a long time. That's how it works in the United States. So they hatched up a scheme where they would have guys like Gallo, the same person who tried to kill Mike in prison, to pick fights with prisoners. This way, they would have their prison sentences extended and Reform Corps would make more money. Obviously, that doesn't end well though. Harvey confronts Mike about it after Gallo leaves him a message.
Mike? Odds are he doesn't know jack shit and he's just using you to get money.
Then, to add to his plate, Harvey has difficulty deciding whether he wants to tell Donna about his relationship with Paula, which creates problems between the two.
Of course you have feelings for her. But you started having panic attacks after she left you. We wouldn't even know each other if it weren't for those feelings.
Then what are you saying?
I don't know. Maybe you don't want to tell her because you like being the object of her attention and affection.
Unfortunately, things only get more complicated as Harvey becomes aware of the full extent of Alex Williams' involvement in the prison case. Turns out that his old firm, Bratton Gould, set him up by making it seem like he got paid by the prison arrangement. With a daughter to care for, Alex has the case dismissed to cover it up. Mike's pissed at first, but after becoming fully aware of what's at stake, he and Harvey team up once again to help Alex get out of his legal mess.
I swear to God, if you're going to use this against him...
What the hell are we doing?
Harvey hands off the case to Robert Zane, who uses Gallo's deathbed confession to close the case after he's murdered in prison. In the meantime, Donna reconnects with her ex-boyfriend Mark, but backs out after her conscience convinces her that having an affair with a married man is beneath her standards. Shout out to the conscience, I guess. She was only considering showing with him because seeing Harvey in a relationship with Paula, it stirred up uncomfortable feelings for her.
I didn't know if you'd come.
I'm sorry, Mark. I can't do this.
Unfortunately, though, things get even more complicated for her when she's getting called as a witness in on one of Harvey's cases. After the prison case, Harvey gets involved in more trouble as he takes on a prosecutor, Andy Malik, who worked with him in the Manhattan DA's office. Harvey does not remember Andy, but Andy definitely remembers Harvey as being Cameron Dennis's pet employee.
He's gonna subpoena the one other person who was there when you put Clifford Danner away.
Andrew ends up destroying her on the stand, which not only rips apart Donna, but it also paints Harvey as an evidence-burying lawyer.
I think it takes destroying evidence, getting fake fired, and a little acting ability to pull it off.
As Donna recovers from the humiliation, Mike pushes her to tell Harvey how she actually feels. He believes it's the right thing to do, even if there's the smallest chance of the two ending up together. So she gives it some thought while Mike and Harvey take care of Andrew for good. Unfortunately, he refuses to back down, guys, and decides to go after Jessica's license. His plan is to have her disbarred for being a party to Mike's fraud. The threat to his mentor has Harvey running around frantically. However, Jessica Jessica flies down from Chicago and tells him it's okay, he can take down her name and let Andrew do what he wants.
You've been ready for the better part of the year.
Unconvinced, Harvey goes back to the firm to discuss things with Louis. That's when Donna takes up Mike on his advice. She makes the bold decision to kiss Harvey the moment he walks into her office.
Good, you're still here. Where's Louis? Because I have some news, and I think you should both...
I'm sorry, Harvey. I just had to know.
Of course, that stirs up trouble for Harvey. He comes clean to Paula about his past with Donna, and she reacts like any woman would react in her shoes. To add on to his plate, Harvey has to release a statement cutting off Jessica for good, which it hurts him deeply. Once the statement is released, Pearson Spectre Lit is officially dissolved and renamed as Spectre Lit. Meanwhile, Louis runs into Sheila Saz once again, despite being engaged to someone. So she invites over Louis, and the two begin to sneak around. Obviously, having an affair stirs up uncomfortable feelings for Louis.
That night was one of the greatest nights of my entire life, but the next morning was one of the worst.
Then Harvey's dealing with his own relationship problems. Still uncomfortable with Donna's presence in Harvey's life, Paula asks him to choose between her and Donna. She approaches Donna as well. Eager to give Harvey a shot at happiness, she resigns.
Harvey, what are you doing here?
I came here to give you this.
Once Harvey finds out, he realizes he can't live without her, so he breaks up with Paula for good and runs to Donna's apartment to hire her back. Then Louis' relationship with Sheila the Tank takes a turn as well, as she realizes that she doesn't really love her fiancé. She breaks off the engagement and takes Louis back, even telling him that she's willing to have kids. But unfortunately though, neither of them get the chance to celebrate these developments, as the firm's old senior partners file a class action lawsuit. They want their buy-in amount back after finding out Jessica was paid back. But wait, there's more! Things only get worse as a man named Andy Forsyth approaches Mike and informs him that he's starting his firm in Seattle that would focus only on helping people affected by major corporations. Now, for Mike, that's huge because during his entire career as a lawyer, he's only ever wanted to help the little guy. And quite frankly, that's an offer he can't refuse. So Mike makes the decision no one saw coming. He accepts the offer, but before packing his bags and moving to Seattle, he and Rachel exchange vows. They're surrounded by their friends in a simple ceremony, promising to stand by each other no matter what. And it's a heartfelt moment, making the start of their new chapter.
You are the strongest man I've ever met, and you make me stronger. You're the husband I've always wanted. And I can't wait to begin our adventure together.
We're at Season 8. After Jessica Pearson's departure and Mike and Rachel's move to Seattle, the firm is rebranded as Spectre Lit, though Harvey Spectre and Louis Lit are now managing partners. Their approach to leadership clashes.
And I am confident you'll agree with all my proposals, with the exception...
I'm not dropping Dexter Roll. And I'm not dropping Claviton.
At the same time, the firm brings in Robert Zane, Rachel's father, as a name partner, creating Zane Spectre Lit, a name change for the 10th time. Robert makes the decision after finding out his partners were planning a coup behind his back. Robert also brings over his new associate and his right-hand man, or woman to be exact, Samantha Wheeler. She joins the firm. She's highly skilled but unapologetically ruthless. She's girl bossing. Basically, another Harvey but in heels. He's all about the rules, which is the exact opposite of Harvey, and it becomes a recipe for chaos.
I'm not gonna have someone inside my own firm who doesn't know when she's lost.
The only one in here who doesn't know that they've lost is you.
However, Harvey is forced to respect him as he hands over the title of managing partner. Things between Harvey, Louis, and Robert are heating up as everyone tries to assert authority over the firm's decisions. Talk about sibling rivalry, but with better suits and higher stakes.
But you handle your clients, I'll handle mine.
Yeah, fair enough.
Meanwhile, Samantha proves herself by winning a difficult case, but she's still in hot water for unethical tactics.
I don't give a shit what he's doing. I want to know what you did.
I did what you wouldn't do. Protect the client.
Bullshit.
Harvey discovers that the building's lady is struggling with a low salary, and he decides to take matters into his own hands by confronting the landlord. Harvey pushes to help her while the others are against it, which creates tension and fractures the team. After all, going after the person who owns your office building isn't exactly a smart move.
I don't give a shit whether he kicks us out of the building or not.
That's enough. You don't go to war with the guy that owns your house over something like this.
In the end, though, Donna steps in to defuse the situation, preventing things from going completely out of control. She helps Harvey think like Mike, which gives him the bright idea of having Mike's clinic file a class action lawsuit against the landlord. It turns out to be the right decision because the landlord finally backs off. Meanwhile, Louis is dealing with his own issues. He's robbed of his sense of security as he's mugged while on his way to dinner with a client. The incident leaves him traumatized, forcing him to find comfort in Samantha's company.
Yeah.
You know where Rite Aid is around here?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm actually not from around here.
I don't give a shit where you live. Do what I say, you won't get shot. Feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
Good.
The incident leaves him traumatized, forcing him to find comfort in Samantha's company. This unexpected connection, it plants the seeds of a friendship, showing that a bit of misfortune can actually be good for networking.
You weren't there! You don't know the shit I went through. You never will. Now back the hell off and get the hell out of my office.
Louis, relax. I was just trying to...
Get the hell out!
Meanwhile, Donna makes Robert realize that he needs to switch up his leadership style if he wants the partnership to stick.
Because if I'm going to leave this firm, people need to follow my orders.
Maybe the problem isn't with the orders, Robert. Maybe it's with the man who's giving them.
Harvey's got his own problems to deal with as he steps away to handle his brother's messy divorce, forcing him to remember his painful past. However, he has a hard time helping him once he finds out that his brother is the one to blame. He started gambling again and had his daughter cover it up.
I take it Donna gave you my message?
She did. What's going on?
I'm getting a divorce.
What?
I know. And I know it is a big ask, but I was hoping that you could represent me.
Meanwhile, Louis faces a personal challenge as well. He is asked to forget mudding, his favorite hobby to increase the chance of conceiving. Yes, the man who once lived for mud now wrestles with adult compromise. Fortunately, the sacrifice does pay off because Sheila the Tank ends up pregnant. Excited, she proposes to Louis, who happily says yes. But however, that happiness, it's short-lived when Sheila tells him that the test was a false positive. Then the firm focuses on pursuing leverage in a high-stakes legal battle over a merger between two rival tech companies, like nerds fighting each other. Harvey and Samantha, they work to outmaneuver their opposition, where Samantha continues with her hardline approach while staying within controllable limits. And she manages to prove her skill for the 100th time, and it doesn't go unrewarded. Her name goes up on the wall along with Alex's, making the firm, wait for it, Zane, Spector, Litt, Wheeler, Williams, as if they weren't short on second names before. Donna's busy as well. She starts sleeping with Thomas Kessler, one of Louis' clients. Everybody just sleeps with each other. And that does put distance between her and Harvey. He feels more alone than ever since Mike's gone as well. Sadly, he doesn't get time to process his feelings as he ends up at risk of losing his law license when Donna accidentally tells her boyfriend, Thomas Kessler, about a business deal involving Harvey's client, Simon Lowe. Obviously, Kessler backs out and Lowe takes a hit, and all of it comes to bite back Harvey when Daniel Hardman, of all people, decides to call an ethics hearing on Harvey since he broke confidentiality. Thankfully, though, Robert swoops in to save Harvey at the last minute. However, that decision causes him to lose his own license in the process. Harvey and Samantha sit down to talk about the fall of their hero. In the personal conversation, it prompts Harvey to finally realize his feelings for Donna.
What was she like?
Let's just say she was to me what he is to you. It's hard losing her, but it gets easier.
He believed in me. He was the only one. Whoever did that.
And without wasting any more time, he rushes over to Donna's apartment and finally embraces her. Season 9. So this season opens with Faye Richardson stepping into Spector Litt as the Bar Association. It tightens its grip on the firm.
Louis Litt?
Yeah.
My name is Faye Richardson. I'm here on behalf of the New York Bar Association.
I'm sure the bar just hates these people, to be honest, but Faye isn't there to just guide the firm. Her job is to supervise every move they make and to ensure they all follow the rules. She immediately has a clash with Harvey, calling out the firm's long-standing culture of unethical behavior, and it's clear that the era of Spector Litt doing whatever it wants is over. Faye, she begins enforcing strict rules. She reserves settlements, reopens past cases, and even targets Louis Litt personally, criticizing his emotional judgment and threatening his position.
The bar's leadership had doubts about your ability to follow the law, and that's why I'm here. Isn't that the case?
She digs into the firm's past cases looking for any signs of misconduct. However, little does she know that Harvey's working on a quiet strategy to undermine Faye without breaking the law. How nice.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna use to win. Whatever I fucking have to.
Unfortunately, though, he's got to put things on hold as a complex case involving international fraud puts the firm in direct conflict with Faye's rigid oversight. Donna Paulson, now COO, is also struggling with her reduced authority under Faye's control.
What exactly are you trying to tell me, Faye?
That you have to give up your vote Excuse me?
And with everything circling the drain, Mike has no choice but to make a comeback. However, he's not there to help though. He wants to take on Harvey in a case involving a company accused of exploiting workers through cheap labor and harsh working conditions. However, instead of Harvey stepping into the ring, Samantha takes on the case. Mike manages to corner Samantha and almost wins the case, but Samantha turns the tables by fabricating part of the evidence.
That's right. So, you and I are gonna stay here for as long as it takes to figure out how to get out of this.
Wait a second. If his goal is to play his violin in front of a jury, all we have to do is make sure they never get to hear it.
At the same time, Faye, who has been watching the case closely, suspects Harvey of wrongdoing. But Samantha clears up the confusion, which only makes things worse for her. You see, Faye had already suspected that Samantha fabricated fake evidence to win a case, and once the truth came out, Faye fired her on the spot.
Now pack up your things.
I'm not packing anything.
Then I'll have them packed for you, because as of this second, you're fired.
And despite Faye's decision, Harvey and Louis secretly work to reinstate Samantha using firm bylaws and legal technicalities.
What are we doing?
I'll tell you what we're doing. We're getting Samantha her job back.
They reach out to Faye's ex-husband to dig up some dirt on her, and somehow it works. Instead, however, of using her secret against her, Harvey decides to be the bigger person. But everyone still desperately wants to remove Faye and take back control of the firm. In the midst of the chaos, Samantha and Harvey take a break from the firm's chaos, and they go on a road trip to Pittsburgh so that Samantha can finally meet her biological father. The journey, it brings back old memories for Sam, forcing her to confront some past trauma. Back in New York, Louis stirs up trouble by pretending to be Harvey in New York. He meets with clients, introducing himself as Harvey Specter, until Harvey finds out about it. When Harvey gets back from his trip, Donna gifts him the painting by his mother, forcing him to make peace with his past, much like Samantha. He calls his mother after a long time and reconnects with her, finally letting go of the past.
Nothing, I just need to call.
I know who you need to call. I'll be in the bedroom.
Mom, it's me.
What's going on? It's late. Are you okay?
Meanwhile, Sean Cahill shows up at Harvey's doorstep, who's there to ask for Harvey's help after Andrew Malick had him arrested on suspicion of swapping Mike's freedom for William Sutter, and Harvey eventually agrees to represent him.
I don't give a shit what it looks like. You hire me, we can talk about anything, and it's not admissible.
All right, Harvey, you're my lawyer. Now let's talk about the story.
Harvey brings Alex in to help, and together they ultimately win the high-stakes case. Meanwhile, Louis helps his sister with an SA case along with Samantha and Katrina. However, the celebration is short-lived as Donna informs Harvey of his mother's passing.
Your mother had a heart attack. She's gone.
Obviously, Harvey struggles with the loss, and he gives a speech at his mother's funeral where he finally realizes that she was a good parent.
She was always there, even when I thought she wasn't. I didn't know that for a long time, but now I do.
Donna then uses the situation to convince Mike to help with the firm's Faye situation. Mike agrees and teams up with Samantha to sue Faye for wrongful termination. Unfortunately, Faye pulls a legal Uno reverse card by asking Harvey and Louis to represent her. She strikes a deal, promising to leave the firm on the condition that the pair win the case. The case, it drives a wedge between Harvey, Louis, Samantha, and Mike, threatening their relationship. Faye adds to the pressure by asking Harvey to take the stand. However, Harvey unexpectedly tells Mike the whole truth. With everything out in the open, Harvey and Mike team up to do what they do best. They decide to pull off one last con. They manage to trick Faye into signing a document that gets her to admit to witness tampering.
Well, then don't wait, Faye. Get the hell out right now.
Excuse me?
He said you're done here.
Spectre Lit survives, and Louis marries Sheila, completing the most complicated love story in legal history.
In this particular case, I would say there are no two people on this earth more made for each other than...
Oh, God.
Sheila, you're not supposed to say that until he's going to ask you to say I do.
However, Harvey resigns from the firm, choosing a new life focused on purpose rather than power. He joins Mike and Rachel in Seattle, along with Donna, committing to pro bono law. The series ends with Harvey and Mike standing together as equals, and it's clear that they've come a long way since everything started.
Hey. Yeah. You give me this chance, I promise you I will school those Harvard douches and be the best lawyer you've ever seen.
Okay, but you gotta lose the fat tie.
And guys, that's the entire story of Suits. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I enjoyed telling it to you. And this was everything from Mike Ross's risky beginning to Harvey Specter finally opening up about his feelings. Every case in the show, it shaped the firm and the people in it. But thank you all so much for watching, commenting, and have a good one. Bye-bye!